Guys, hey, Vermont Derek here. This video is the end of yesterday's video on Metal Detecting Channel. It's Frank coming out the door and getting an introduction to me, and then sitting down telling me a couple stories about him. We'll be doing more with him as far as he's got like a museum inside his house, and then I'm gonna do some sort of video from inside the house with like a museum tour from the inside of his house. This video is just him giving me a couple stories out on the porch. I was being eaten alive by mosquitoes, literally, and I couldn't concentrate. It was so distracting that I was sitting there talking to somebody that I really wanted to listen to, that I had already been eaten all day long, and I was being eaten on the porch while talking to him. And I don't know, he had a mosquito biting his arm. Like, he wasn't bothered at all, and I was just being completely eaten, which is the story of my life. I'm always the guy that's being eaten by mosquitoes, and everybody else doesn't even seem to be affected. But enjoy. It's just a few minutes of Frank talking some stories, and then we'll have a follow-up on Frank later. So I hope you enjoy.
Get a metal detector in my yard.
I saw you out front, yeah. You know, one thing I've always wanted to do, y'all sit down.
Well,
I got a funny story.
But I want to real quick, because I have to go jump on my other call, but I just wanted to tell you, he loves like history, and I told him about all the stuff in your house and how you have a museum tour that you've given me and my parents.
Yeah, you'll have to come by sometimes and things quieten down, and I'll haul it all out.
Yeah,
that's
because he has to pull it all out. But it's amazing. But I'm gonna have to run. But I wanted to introduce y'all.
Oh my.
Well, Frank, it's a pleasure meeting you.
Oh, good to meet you too.
I'm just blessed, and I was telling Lori that how blessed I am. I just realized that this past November, when a story from a gentleman, because I hunt primarily metal detect on the beach, and I find gold on the beach. Well, with all this stuff happening, you have to find blessings in the stuff that happens that keeps you home. Maybe you got to get caught up with the work or whatever. But a guy had told me this story on the beach about a lady losing a 2.5 to 3 carat diamond solitaire up at Reddington Beach. Well, I'd never hunted Reddington Beach, and I started from that day. Well, that day he told me the story, I met a series of people, Michael, Bill, Alex. I can tell you these people that are now dear friends, that I knew if this guy Steve hadn't told me this story. It was a random story to him.
Yeah.
He still doesn't even know he's changed my life as far as my entire thinking about how we're all one, and we affect each other with just one word or one saying or one moment. So your life has changed because of me today, whether you believe it or not. You're sitting here, right? So your life, your pattern has changed, your footsteps have changed because you met me today.
I appreciate that.
Well, it's the craziest thing, because like I found this is a bucket lister of mine, right? I hadn't found one of these. It's Standing Liberty quarter.
Very good.
And then I found a barber. This is my third barber, 1919, 1920.
Were they in Laura's yard?
They were in her yard.
All right, I'll tell you what I've often wanted to do, getting ahead of my story I wanted to tell you. Most of these houses were built in the 1920, 1930 period. And everybody had Model Ts or Model As or old Chevrolets. And they all had the garage doors in the alley.
Mm-hmm.
I've often thought, surely, how many people in this old Northeast, when they got out of their cars, dropped change at the garage door?
Right.
It'd be fun just to go down all the alleys.
And you know, the alleys are public access. So
Yeah,
it's another thing that
exactly.
people don't understand is the part from the sidewalk to the road, I don't even have to ask your permission.
Yeah.
It's going to upset you if I'm digging in your yard.
Right.
That's why I usually always ask for permission anyway. But from the sidewalk to the road is the city's property. So that makes, people don't even know that's a city property.
I'm glad to say, I bet you there's a fortune if you covered the old Northeast alleys.
There is. We'll have to cut that out of my channel so nobody else has that idea until I sound the alleys.
Let me tell you a funny one. Oh, by the way, before I get to the funny one, I guess you read last month that some lucky sucker over at I think it was Vero Beach, the 1715 shipwreck.
Yes.
Found the cash.
The Spanish fleet, yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, of course.
I have a friend who lives over in Lutz. He goes over there. He says, yeah, people find stuff over there all the time. And as long as you are on the public portion of the beach, it's yours.
Correct. So they don't even let you go in the water because the
No.
water is leased out through that particular salvage company. They own just about all of that salvage. And they have salvaged 2 different wreck sites, I think, that they've found a
Yeah.
couple hoards. But they know, I think they know where. So there's
All-
7 ships, 1 survived, 6 went down, right? So,
Yeah. The whole fleet itself was 17, but then some of them
oh,
made
was it? Yeah. So, can you even imagine? It's still my bucket lister to go over and find a gold coin.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
anything from that shipwreck would be amazing.
I don't tell you a funny one. I'm a retired college professor, and in the storage department, we had a metal detector. Well, my ex-wife and I, we liked to prowl, so one day I said, let's go up to the Dade battlefield. If you ever read the book by Frank Lauerman called Massacre, it gives you the whole story of the Dade Massacre.
Okay.
I don't like to call it a massacre because they asked for it.
Right. Right.
The Indians lucked out. Well, we got up there. Of course, there's a ranger's station and a museum there, and tennis courts. Have you ever been up there?
I haven't yet. No.
It's a beautiful little park.
Is it?
And they restored the gun emplacement where the cannon was. And Laramie tells you where the cannon was pointed, where the attack occurred, what the Indians did, so forth and so on. And you know, out of the 108 soldiers, there were only, I think, 4 of them lived.
Right.
And
You'd imagine what the Indians' frame of mind was hearing a cannon that, you know, even somebody coming at them with cannons instead of just normal.
he said what they would do, because the Seminoles didn't fight on horseback. They left the horses back behind so they wouldn't get hurt.
Right.
So they said they'd watch, and when the soldiers were loading that cannon, they'd watch and they'd watch, and when a guy was going to touch hold, they ducked behind a tree.
Right. That's how easy it was.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes are out bad. You got one on your arm.
Yeah. But we were up there, and I told Liz, I said, you watch the ranger station. They come out and look around. I'll just lay it down and wander around, you know. Well, I found the Army is using 69 caliber muskets,
Right.
model 18 and 16. And the Indians were using, most of them were Spanish manufactured 38 caliber muskets with rifle barrels.
Right. That's crazy. The Indians had modern weapons.
They think that William Bunce's Pass,
Right.
that he was one of the big suppliers of the Indians
To the
who
Indians.
frequently go to Cuba and bring back rifles and gunpowder and lead.
That's
The
so
Army
funny.
finally burned him out. But I found one model 1816 size flint with the lead wrap still on it,
Wow.
and 6 69 caliber musket balls, 3 36 caliber, and a small gun flint from a Spanish rifle. Everything fine. Then I got to thinking, well, the park there now is all oak hammock.
Right.
But when the Indians were there and their fighting was going on, it was pine woods.
Okay.
And the cannon was aimed slightly to the north-northwest. And that's all pasture. It's
Yeah.
not in the park. So I went over the fence, sweeping to the north-northwest. And all of a sudden, zing!
Oh, you're going to give me a cannonball story.
That's what I thought I was going to
Oh.
find. So I yelled at my wife. I said, be careful, I'm going to have to dig a hole. I dug there, and it changed the entire history of the Second Seminole War. Because what I found was a tricycle.
A tricycle.
Yeah. My theory is that Indians were fighting on trikes.
Ah, that is funny. That's great.
The mystery, of course, is why was a tricycle buried out in the pasture?
Right.
maybe the people had lost a child and they buried it away from the house.
Right.
Or maybe they'd stolen it or something.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's great. What a great sense of humor you have.
I still got the flints and the balls.
That's great.
I was in the Korean War.
Okay.
And, well, a couple of things I brought back from that episode. But just before we left, we had to serve some time at Fort A.P. Hill, Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Right.
And one day we were told to, I was a Russian breakdown clerk for the regiment. The captain came in and says, lay off your typewriters for a while. We need some help with the guys in tank up there. They need to have help digging in the tanks.
Right.
So we started digging in this big M47A, and I found a Civil War period bayonet and a pike head.
What is a pike head?
That's the big long spear with the spearhead
yep,
that kills horses.
Yep.
So I've got that in my.
That's fun. That is fun. Jeez.
And I spent a lot of time swimming in Lake Champlain and fishing, hiking around.
Did you ever see Champ?
Yeah. Hope so.
Yeah. I tell you what, I've heard stories about it. I know somebody who says he has seen him.
I've seen it.
Yep.
I've seen it.
He also says he's seen Bigfoot too, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was watching recently a semi-documentary on TV about the monster of Lake Champlain.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. I think that you never know when a lake is that steeply deep down to 400 or 500 feet, right? You never know.
I know, there's stuff there.
You never know. Loch Ness, same thing. Super deep lake that you just never know. I mean, I've seen probably the same documentary, but they have side scan sonar and they've got some pretty high-tech stuff nowadays where if it was in there, I bet it probably would have been found. And guys, we'll ask Frank about his tattoo on his neck later.
I was doing an archaeological dig working with the state.
Yeah.
I used to work with the State Museum in Gainesville. And I was down in the burial mound in a pit maybe 5 feet deep and 10 feet long and 5 feet wide.
Yep. Guys, I always say that you're having a bad day if you're seeing one of those over top of you.
I was bent down and something hit me on the shoulder. And I turned and there's this big old whip-tailed scorpion just sitting there looking at me.
Wow.
I flicked it off. I didn't want to hurt it. And that's to commemorate that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Hey,
well,
when you get around to my alley, what you're going to find there is probably 2-3 pounds of bent nails.
okay. I find a lot of nails for sure, but my machine's smart enough to tell me whether it's a nail or whether it's a coin for sure. So
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you. You have a good day.